Thanks, viewers. This is Alivia's mum.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to give you the update on Liv. I flew into Bali yesterday and I was at the hospital with her all day and night. She's not doing very well. She's really in a lot of pain and struggling. Her brain's not working well. There's a lot of neurotrauma. She doesn't know, where she is or what's going on. So there's also a lot of fear. So she's really like a little, 1-year-old baby. She can't stop spasms and involuntary movement and agitation, and she's really uncomfortable. So we're unable to, get her checked out of the hospital until she can follow instructions and go to the bathroom and kind of calm down. She also had 2 major surgeries on her hips and her legs, so on the 13th of this month she should be able to kind of sit up, we can't really know if we can put her on a flight or not yet, because it all depends on how she's coping with her brain and her mind. But if anyone has any ideas for some fundraising, because her being here is costing us about $20,000 a week. She's got 4 surgeons and several nurses, and she needs 24-hour care. So if anyone has any ideas, please let me know. We're desperate. Or if you have any contacts with Medivac or with Qantas, maybe we could put her on a business class Qantas flight and get her home and get her checked into a hospital in Australia. But if anyone has any ideas, I really appreciate them. And also wanted to thank everyone so far who's donated and sent really beautiful messages and prayed for Liv. Thank you, everyone.
Now, viewers, when an accident happens like this, people usually move in one of 2 directions. Some speak with emotion but ignore responsibility. Others speak of responsibility but lose compassion. And the Christian response isn't either of those things. It has to remain open, fair, truthful, but most of all merciful. Now, point number 1, viewers. A fair response acknowledges the seriousness of the choices involved. It's fair to say that travel carries responsibility. It's fair to say that insurance matters. It's fair to say that overseas scooter use can involve real danger and serious exposure. It's fair to say that some accidents may contain preventable elements. But Christianity does not teach that choices do not matter. Choices do matter. It teaches that wisdom matters, preparation matters, and consequences are real. But fairness, viewers, also means restraint. And we don't know every detail. We don't know every condition. I've been on motorbike rides, and we've been going along the road, coming to a corner, and mature, male, lifelong riders have just gone straight off into the side of the road and missed the corner. I know one bloke that did it twice. Right? Twice. Just missed the corner. We don't know, right, what's happened here. And we don't know every moment that led to the event. But I tell you what, I've read some of the comments going on, and I'm shocked. I'm shocked at the hardness of the hearts of some of these people, despite what I just spoke about, despite the consequences of decisions that, work against us. All of us, we've all had it happen to us. But you know what the funny thing is that I've learnt, viewers? I'll tell you what I've learnt. Forgiveness and mercy and all these things that society's trying to numb down and say aren't real, you've got to be this and you've got to be that, and they've got no value until you need them yourself. And then all of a sudden, the penny drops or the reality hits, or we come to our senses and we go, what? How important is forgiveness? How important is mercy? How important is grace? And for a Christian country, a Christian nation, we ought to be ashamed, absolutely ashamed of the attitude that's going on. So fairness requires honesty, but it requires honesty without exaggeration. And it's one thing to say risk was real, and it's another thing to act as though a wounded person now deserves less mercy because of prior decisions. Like, what is going on out there, viewers? They ain't the sort of people I want to be hanging around. You might say, well, who wants to hang around you? Well, I'll tell you one thing, that ain't going on. Point number 2, Christian compassion does not cancel truth, but it refuses cruelty. The Christian faith, for those of you that haven't got a clue, I mean, why am I a Christian? Yeah, because I got brought to my knees and gone, I'm sick and tired of evil, and I want to do everything I can to avoid it. That's what Christianity's about, reducing evil, escaping evil. And some of the evil in these comments is absolutely disgraceful. It's worse than the accident. The condition of the minds of some of these people that have made comments on some of the posts of this person's tragedy, I have to say, are demonic and satanic. You might say, well, they're sensible and she deserves it. Well, what world do you live in? Different story if it was one of yours. So, Christian compassion, for those of you who haven't got a clue about who the Lord is, it doesn't cancel truth. It uses truth to mature and to improve and to learn. But I tell you one thing it refuses, and that's cruelty. The Christian faith does not teach that people only deserve compassion when they've acted wisely. It teaches that compassion goes across the field, but not to justify things. No. If that were the rule, mercy would disappear from the world. If we went on some of the some of the comments that I've read, mercy would disappear from the world. We'd just be left with greed, abandonment. Like people are saying, just abandon this person. She deserves it. Let her get better over there. Who are you people? Show yourselves. Christian compassion's not about denial of bad judgment. Nobody's done that. It's the refusal to let bad judgment become the excuse for emotional coldness and cruelness. And there's a major difference between saying this should be a lesson to others and saying therefore they should carry it alone. No. The first may contain wisdom, the second often contains hardness of heart. The Lord, for those that use who, and if you don't know him, you are going to meet him whether you like it or not, so you better sort that one out. Because he's working on this. He's going to get this lady home, whether you like it or not. And then you're going to have to front up to the Lord and put your 2 bobs worth in as well about your attitude. Christ did not teach people to look at the suffering first and then ask, how can I preserve my moral distance? The Lord taught, love your neighbour. Neighbour love, burden bearing, mercy, truth, and truth together. Now, the reason why I know how cruel people are is because I was a Christian minister once myself. And even the Christians struggle with grace and mercy until they need it themselves. I mean, honestly, guys, this is a person's life's hanging in the balance, and we've got people making comments. You know, as I said before, Christians can fully believe, and we do believe. For those of you that aren't Christians or have been on the end of a bad Christian, don't worry. We know nobody's perfect. We know that choice matters. We know consequences are real. We know wisdom should be exercised, and we know help at the end of the day is still what's right. Point number 3. What right now is essential for Alivia? Now is not public judgment, viewers, and I rebuke you for your comments are in black and white, so we'll leave you there. It's not public judgment now. It's about ordered mercy. Right now, the essential matter is not internet condemnation. It is care. It is treatment. It is support. It is advocacy. It is practical burden sharing in a moment of crisis. When a person, in this case Alivia, is badly injured, the first need is not to become a public fucking lesson for everyone. Sorry for swearing, but this is just completely... I've never, honestly. The first need is survival, stabilisation and support. And for Alivia, what is essential now is proper medical attention, whatever arrangements best protect life and recovery, support for her children and family, financial help where genuinely needed, and prayerful compassion from others. There may be a later place for discussing better decisions, insurance, risk and lessons, right? Okay, everybody's going to have a place for that, but do you think now's the right time? This person's laying there, life and death. We've got all these experts. Don't you think we already know? So the emergency is not the moment for detached moral performance. The Lord's love asks, what does this person need now? And I'm going to challenge everyone that listens to this, please. What do you think this person needs now? And I can't show you the picture of Alivia in hospital because it just wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be fair. It's horrible. And this is the essential question. What does Alivia need right now? So let's reflect. When you see suffering, do you move first towards mercy, or do you use truth to protect yourself from compassion? I'm going to say that again, because that's what's going on here. When you see suffering, do you move first towards mercy, or do you use truth to protect yourself from compassion? Because that's what I'm seeing in some of the comments. I'm seeing a hell of a lot of compassion, but I'm also seeing a hell of a lot of evil as well. So let me challenge you. Hold both principles firmly. Tell the truth about risk and responsibility at the right time. People aren't ignorant. But refuse to weaponize truth against the wounded, against the harmed and the maimed. In public tragedy, let your words be honest. Let them be restrained, but most of all, let them be merciful. Please. You know, the Australian Christian fundamental constitutional values of our nation, they're going out the window. It's getting greedier and greedier, more out of order, more unmerciful, all this other stuff. You know, you might say, what's this got to do with you? Well, it might have nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with me, but I'm going to, in this instance, I have and I'm going to put in. Truth without mercy becomes cruelty, viewers. But mercy guided by truth becomes strength, loving strength. And that's what we all need. You know, there's so many instances where people have wanted to have their truth, even if it was cruel. We've all done it. None of us are, exempt. But truth without mercy is cruel. And mercy guided by truth becomes loving strength. And that's what needs to happen. Why can't we all just get together and go, right, let's get this done and dusted. I'm going to close with this. The Australian fundamental, everything that this nation's been built on that succeeded is Christian. Okay? And so the Australian response to Alivia's situation, in its truest sense, fundamental sense, has to remain open and fair. Nobody's arguing that. It should acknowledge that choices, preparations and consequences matter. People aren't ignorant. But it must also insist that suffering people are not abandoned because they were imperfect. And what's essential for Alivia now is not public hardness, but compassionate, truthful, practical support. And viewers, this is the better path. This is the Australian Christian fundamental constitutional path. And all this family has asked for is a little bit of help. And are you obligated to help? No, you're not obligated to help. You're not. No, you're not. But I just asked the question, just one little question. What if this was someone close to you? And I don't say that to make you feel good, but I just want to say it because we've lost touch with what the Lord, the Lord went around healing people, doing good. They cursed him for it, right? They killed him for it. Don't let that be the case here. Dig in, reach in. Even, a woman come to the temple in Jesus' day and they said, what the hell's going on here, Lord? She's only put in a little mite. And Jesus said she put in relative to what she had. And that was all that mattered. Nobody's judging you. Nobody's condemning you. But cruelty, right? Cruelty has to be called out. And so does generosity. Let your generosity outweigh your cruelty or even idleness. I'm pro-Bricky, pro-theologist, Dr. JWAU. Thanks for listening. And either way, you look after yourself and live a life of wisdom, because wisdom is the principal thing. And if you can help Alivia Campbell come home, please do.